Welcome back. This is the final episode of the Two Dope Chicks Wedding Series podcast. And I am Shanae with Party Life Productions, the wedding and event designer for the Two Dope Wedding. And I am joined by the Two Dope Chicks, attorney Millicent Pride Daniels and Shantae Pride Daniels. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Hey.
I want to pick up uh, where we left off that the wedding reception and weekend events had over nearly 200 guests. Um, but literally just one was a family member of yours. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, very candidly, uh, Shantae had a lot of family there. I was super happy for her that her family came out and supported her um, with this monumental move of marriage. But my brother was there. Um, everyone is not privileged or blessed to have the type of family that's supportive of this kind of decision of actually marrying a woman, being in a same sex relationship. And of course, I respect that, but that was the choice, and I respected their choice. But I chose love over, um, their position. So it's it was tough. It was tough, but I had done enough preparation and really making myself okay to be able to get through that moment, knowing that that was my reality. Um, but I will tell you this is family is not always, blood. It's the village that you create. And my sorority sisters, the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, I mean, talk about came through. It was like 30 deep, surrounded by love, support, um, anything that they could do to help. It was tremendous. And so I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful for my village that came out supported when, other decisions were made.
To do the same. And I know this is something that you said you prepared yourself for, and you were ready for what that may feel like on wedding day. But just like anything that we've spoken about with the two of you before, what affects one also affects the other. And that reminds me of when I first learned, and it wasn't exactly a number of guests that may be in attendance, but that there would be a lack of family in attendance. And just to share a little bit, we were uh, away on some two dope wedding business and just at dinner, talking about wedding logistics. And when one of the things that we typically discuss is who's walking down the aisle with who and which, sister or cousin or aunt or uncle or, whatever. Every wedding and every couple is different. And getting deeper into that conversation sparked something that I don't think any of us saw coming that day. Um, and surprisingly enough, the emotion that came from that moment wasn't mainly from Millicent, it was from Shantae. So I just want to talk about what those moments mean to you, just to share more about how these types of decisions, from family especially, affects everyone.
It definitely affects everyone. I remember the time that you were talking about. It was actually our first trip to New York. You went with us, and we went to do the perfume and our first dress fitting, and we went to dinner. We're sitting outside at our favorite restaurant when we go to New York. Can't remember the name of it, but it's our favorite.
Maestro.
Mastro's, there it is. And we're sitting out there and we're talking, and you're asking all these questions. And I think a part of both of us is we can be kind of protective over each other. And although you were doing your job and asking the questions that you needed to have answered at that time, I did not want her to feel a certain type of way. And I just remember her looking at me and was like, "Are you okay? Are you crying?" I was like, "No, I'm not crying." And then you asked something else. And then within 5 seconds, and I was like, "I guess I am crying." And I just burst out into tears because it was just a anger, everything building up inside of me from start to now of like, I just don't understand how you can have somebody so beautiful inside and out, so successful, such a giving person, and you just hang your hat on one thing. And it was hard for me sometimes during the wedding planning to even talk about
It was a subject that was
family.
avoided.
It was a subject that
Hmm.
was avoided, and I think it was avoided because I never wanted to make her feel as though I don't have anybody, like I'm by myself, because I knew my mom was going to be there, my stepdad, my aunts, my cousins, my daughters. Um, so I wanted her to be surrounded by that same village, that same type of love. Although my family, for the most part, looks at her as family, it still hits differently with such a momentous event such as this. And so that hurt in the moment because I know Millicent and I know how she is. She can be very, I don't know, sterile and just block everything out. But on the inside, I know what she's feeling and I know what she's dealing with and I know how it bothers her on a daily basis.
And
And so it was hard.
in that moment, I felt like if you could cry tears for someone else, if they couldn't, and it just felt like you wanted her to be able to have that emotion. And Millicent was very clear on, where she's made peace. And that doesn't mean, not disappointed.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
so it didn't come across in that way,
Hmm.
but just in a way where I'm handling it, even if I'm not finished handling it. And
But it's kind of like that thing, when somebody say, I'm good, but really and truly,
Yeah.
they're not good, and they're
and you
not
did
good.
what the inside
And
Yeah.
was
it's
on the
it's
inside.
and I think, just kind of looking back at it, there were some moments where it was just like, this is so, is this complete? Your experience in your suite was completely different than my experience in my suite, where you had, all of your family in there and it's buzzing and it's going, all of this commotion and going back and forth, but it's still surrounded in love. Where for me, it was just like, I'm kind of solo dolo here, you know. Love it that a stylist is here, makeup artist is here. Love it that my wonderful sorority sisters, couple are here, but it's just, those moments are missed where, um, your mom gives you something or imparts some type of, um,
Wisdom,
word of
lasting word.
wisdom
Yes.
to you is, it ended up where my hairstylist is in the photo putting on, they needed somebody to help me put on an earring. And it's my hairstylist. And it's just like, that's kind of different. But, it's just, it's one of those realities. I did feel I had a moment where after the ceremony and it was time to take pictures, and you had just this sea of all your family to take pictures with, and it was just like, okay, Millicent, who are you gonna take? Bring your family to take pictures. It's me and my brother, and it's just like, that's it, wraps it up,
And then, not to mention, even with him being there, it was like, yeah, you're here, but
Yeah,
you're just
it was,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that's what I dealt with all day in my suite. And I kept having these moments where I would just burst into tears, and I'm looking back now and seeing videos and pictures, like my eyes was red pretty much the whole time because I'm in my suite just thinking about who's in there with her, who's helping her get dressed, who's helping her, just feel comfortable on that day. If I didn't know if you wanted to cry, if you had, I
No
mean, I
tears.
knew Lisa would be in there with you. I knew
Mhm.
Lauren was going to be in there because she was doing your hair. But I just felt like, even though you were surrounded by love, is that I knew that that missing piece or missing pieces to the puzzle was there. And I think that's why even with the wedding fitting, it was kind of like, no, we're gonna do our wedding fitting together. Um, I could have easily picked up the phone and told my mom, like, hey, let's go to New York. We're gonna do the dress, which it's no secret. I've been married before. This is marriage number 2 for me. So my mom didn't miss out on anything. She had that opportunity first go around. But this time I just felt like I had to put Millicent first. And if anybody was going to go through that experience with her, although we didn't see each other, we were on separate sides, we still did it together, which is why everything pretty much about our wedding was it's you and me, kid. We walking down the aisle together. We did all of our tastings. I mean, I know you probably noticed we didn't invite anybody even to the many tastings that we had. It was us.
And that rang true throughout so many other conversations, not just about family. Everything always went back to centering the two of you, which is, very important. One of the things that I wanted to mention is, based on a situation like yours where the support isn't there, isn't where it should be, there's still something that can be gained from moments like that,
Oh
things that
yeah.
can be learned. And there was something that you told me that a guest shared with you that I just wanted more people to hear.
Yeah. For all of the lack of support, it was so wonderful hearing that our wedding and people seeing, and it's the whole weekend. I mean, it was two dope chicks events that ended up culminating in a wedding, in our wedding. But um, people really affected by seeing the two of us, hearing l- our love story, the fact that it was not always a perfect situation, that we've struggled and we've triumphed and we've been in the middle. But we had one young lady came to us and said that she was going to have a conversation with her husband, to really talk about really doing a better job of embracing their son, and his sexuality, and
And bringing his partner around
and
because
bring his
that
partner
made him a
around.
little more comfortable.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. So, that was one of the conversations that we really enjoyed hearing that feedback because, we believe that love is love, and just seeing it demonstrated through us, I guess, made folks feel a little bit more comfortable with having those tougher conversations with their family members and being more accepting.
And not only that, I think even just we're not even just talking about being gay here and sexuality and gay couples, even hetero couples, married couples that have been together for years came to our wedding. And let's just be honest and be real, we probably had more hetero couples there than gay couples. I mean, our,
We
our
have a
friends are
diverse
our
set of
friends. We
friends,
have a
yeah.
very diverse circle. But they even went home with their spouses and had real conversations just based off of the love that was seen and felt and heard at our wedding. Like, wow, like it made us take a step back and say, we need to have
We need to
some
celebrate ourselves.
conversations. We need to celebrate ourselves. And not only that, we need to talk about some things that we heard today that we need to probably kind of talk about. Because most couples most people in general talk on the surface level because it's easier. You don't get pulled out of your comfort zone. But when you go deep and really have those real conversations, that's when things get a little, yeah. So I think our wedding did that, and not that we set out with that
No, no, no,
intention.
no, no. We
Well,
didn't
I
have
think
that
that's
agenda.
why. I think
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
why it went that way because everything felt so natural.
Yeah.
Even, I saw a lot of comments on social media with, people who felt like it was, a show and for other people. And I hope that, through these conversations, we've gotten people to understand this was more personal to
Hmm.
you and it
Hmm.
was more about who you all are. And so once you know that, and these wedding guests who are friends and friends that have become family, to see it on display, it still hits a little bit different. Like we
Yeah.
talked about, I mean, it's sunset and we're on a rooftop and center of downtown Orlando, and you're being sang down the aisle, and so all these things that people might see as theatrics, they were your story on display. So whether it was um, you know guests who were deciding that they needed to embrace their child or friends, or couples who realized that they needed to do more for themselves, it was a true display. And I can only hope for the people that missed it, um, that they can even have a glimpse to understand what they truly missed, beyond the surface, that there was love in the house,
Oh,
as they say.
absolutely.
And there was another aspect that I want to talk about when it comes to dealing with same-sex couples, and I'll tell you, it was something that I was not prepared for. I just I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for some of the things that we would meet or comments that we would see. And the
Hmm.
more you get to know you two as a couple, the harder it is to just understand the things that people would say or how they would feel. But one of the more surprising ones, because I think from day to day life, you've learned some of the things that were newer to me, but more surprising, even for you all in this situation, was some vendors.
Hmm.
Um, can you talk a little bit about?
Yeah, absolutely. We had some vendors, even to this very day, to this very moment. Um, and to know Millicent and I, let's just say that everyone that truly knows us, we give a lot back to our community. We do toy drives. We have a 501c3, Two Dope Chicks Who Give a Care. We do a lot. We support our local school district, Duval County Public Schools. So to go into this moment where we call ourselves supporting our people, the black and brown vendors, and we had more black and brown vendors, probably more brown vendors
I believe
than
all black and brown
all
vendors.
black and brown vendors because we wanted to support our people, I give back to our community because I'm just gonna be real, and everybody that knows me, I'm very candid, I'm very transparent. Our two dope wedding weekend stimulated the economy. I'm just gonna tell you that. And so with that stimulation, there
Two dope
were
stimulus packet.
yes, the two dope stimulus package. We wanted our people to be stimulated, but what we noticed is that it was our people that felt as though it's okay to take their money, but it's not, I don't really want to put it out there. I really don't want to share it on my page. I really don't want to publicize it anyway, but they felt okay with stimulating their pocket with gay funds or whatever you want to call it. And so to this very moment, we have vendors that have not said a word about our wedding, have not shared anything on their page, have not I've run into a couple and it's just been weird. And I would say to any same-sex couple, that's getting married to really do a lot of research and pay attention to the people that you are patronizing and that you're asking to come aboard for your wedding. I mean, even going back to you, Shanae, I remember when Millicent and I, for years, we have followed you, we've talked about you, and we always said one day when we get married, we want her to do our wedding. In our mind, it never came to us like, oh, well, maybe we, need to find out, if she does same sex weddings, how does she feel about the LGBTQ? Because to know Millicent and I, we don't, it's not like we
You
just
don't lead
wake
with
up.
it.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
lead with that. And so we reached out to you and we didn't hear anything back for like over a week. No
Mhm.
fault of yours, you just didn't get it. And meaning you didn't get it, you didn't receive
They
that
didn't get
we
our
had
email,
inquired.
our
It went
initial
to
inquiry.
spam. It caused Millicent and I to have some conversation like,
Yeah,
hey, do you
maybe she
think
doesn't want to
she
do
want
our
to do
wedding.
our
Yeah,
wedding? Like, do you think, how does she feel about that? And that was the very first moment, I think, during this whole planning thing that we felt like, dang, we really do probably need to consider that we are same sex because we wake up every day and we don't think about the fact that we're a same sex couple. All I see is the person that I love. Um, so when you reached back out, we were like, oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
she good. She all right.
And as many times as we've talked about that first, miscommunication, I never thought that it could have come across that way.
right.
And
Yeah,
I didn't even think of it. So I'm even
You didn't.
happier.
Yeah.
Well, and I would now that I've, been a part of this process, and like you said, I've learned to lead with it and to just to expect things that I wouldn't normally be looking out for, from vendor responses. I would think about it differently. I remember even when we were looking into, certain musicians, and Millicent said, "Well, you better see if they want to do it." And I asked some silly question, not understanding that she meant because it was a same sex couple. When we were thinking of a gospel um, situation,
Yeah.
and I just felt so naive over and over and over in the process when I'm just like, oh my God, yeah, some people aren't okay with that.
Yeah.
And I had to keep reminding myself. I don't have to keep reminding myself anymore because, people, the internet will remind
Oh,
you
they
well,
remind us
every
it's
daily.
day.
yeah, because it's amazing to me is I look through some of our vendors their pages, and we had all of these moments that were shared, and that were shared by perfect strangers and or shared by our guests. Um, and some of our vendors, I'm looking through their page expecting to see those same moments or their work on their social media,
Hmm.
because I see them posting other weddings that were not necessarily as grand or had those kinds of moments or had that type of viral reaction,
They were not
and
too
they were not
true.
there. I saw a beautiful reel that one of the vendors made,
Mhm.
um, that was not even on his page. So that was incredible for me. So yeah, you need to really do a good job of vetting who you patronize, because ultimately you need to make sure that they support you full scale.
And it's
And I,
almost like if you damned if you do, damned if you don't, because I know in our community everybody would always say, "Oh my God, they think they've made it, and they didn't choose any,
mhm.
they didn't support the black community, any black and brown." But when we try to support our community, in return, our community, some in the community, did not reciprocate the same actions,
Yeah, and it's
and
it's important to say that there's a lot that did.
Oh yeah,
A lot.
absolutely.
There
absolutely,
was
absolutely,
way more
absolutely.
that did
That didn't.
than didn't.
Mhm.
And I think, to Millicent's point, or as Shantae was saying, it's important to vet and
Mhm.
make sure that who you choose would also choose you.
Correct.
as a
Correct.
client.
Hmm.
The
And
thing
will publicly
is, well,
support
and
you.
publicly choose
Publicly
you
support
because
you.
you're publicly choosing them
Mhm.
when you're stimulating the economy, but making sure that they would publicly choose you. It's because it's something that's hard to tell without research. You wouldn't know. And it's also really important to note these feelings, this type of discussion that we're having right now wasn't had about vendors who turned down um, if they just weren't interested. This conversation is more so about those who didn't turn down the opportunity, but then didn't necessarily support the couple.
Oh, nobody turned down the money.
Yeah.
And
They
so
didn't
I
turn
think
it down.
that's important to note because there's a difference.
Yeah. And it's
If that's your
easy to,
preference.
yeah, it's easy to discern
Hmm.
is, we did a good job of making sure that we gave credit
Hmm.
to the vendors that we patronized.
Hmm.
And so it's just a function of looking at their pages and seeing
Hmm.
if they then credited
Those
us,
that
if we were worthy enough
and not.
to make it on their page.
And I mean, just thinking about all of it. I mean, there has been some beautiful comments, some beautiful things that have been said, and it's been going on social media since our wedding went viral. We have dealt with people with the negative comments, but I have thick skin, so none of that really bothers me. Like I'm
And
so,
it's few and far
and
between.
it's
I
few
mean,
and far
it's,
between because most of the people that decides to come on there and say something negative, of course, we're not going to respond, but somebody else has already jumped in and in an attack mode on them. Like, wait a minute, but it's so crazy because one lady, she stood out to me because she sent me a message personally in my DM. And the first one was she wanted to know, did we grow up in a church and going to church on Sunday mornings? Because surely we knew we were going to hell. And what a lot of people don't know that both Millicent and I are preachers' kids. I grew up in the church, taught Sunday school, directed the youth choir. Church is all I know. And our relationship with God has nothing to do with who we choose to love. It's that kind of stuff. And then it's the who are they? Well, they must be, you don't have to be a rapper. You don't have to be an NFL player. You don't have to be an NBA player. You don't have to be on TV to have a nice wedding. We work, we own businesses, we do very well.
People were very
So,
curious
very
about
curious.
how two ladies could
two
have
women can
a
do it.
wedding
Yeah.
like this. And it wasn't just because it was a same-sex couple. I think it was definitely because it was because if it was two men, I don't think it would have been the same questions around
Or if it
the
was a man and
how did
woman.
they do this. So typically,
Yeah.
society is very used to seeing two, same sex Caucasian males
Mhm.
having grandiose weddings
Oh, yeah.
and no one blinks an eye. But for this one, we're going through comments and
And guess who it was mostly
schooling
from?
us.
Us, our
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was from
only
us.
us.
It
It
was
was
Yeah.
only
only
us
us.
who
And
wondered
we don't
where
take
it came from.
I don't think we took personal offense at it. I mean, it was just
I
it
didn't.
was the observations is it was the observations. There were a couple of pages that, are very well known for weddings and celebrations of, unions and marriages and love. And, we thought that we were going to be featured because of the viral nature of our wedding.
But it was
Um,
the others that featured us.
yeah, it was others that featured us, or they featured weddings that were not as grandiose or not um, um, as
Dope.
dope, so to
Or
speak.
they would come on and say something negative as like, all of those flowers, they got to be fake. Nobody has that many flowers. I'm sorry. They all were real. Thank you, Ponce. They all were real. And going back to who Millicent and I are and how we always patronize and give back to our community, the very next day, all of those flowers were where?
We'll make sure to donate them.
Donated.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
all
yeah,
donated
yeah.
to what
Hmm.
senior citizen homes. Um,
And we're talking
and we're
truck
talking
full. Um,
trucks full of flowers. So some senior citizens were happy and smelling all kind of great florals on that Sunday because we made sure that those flowers went out into the city of Orlando. We had people from our teams that worked tirelessly after the wedding to get that done and to make sure that was handled. So, the stuff really don't bother us because we know what we do. We know who we belong to, and I'm not talking about to each other. I'm talking about we know that we both are children of the King, and so while they sitting there and being keyboard bullies, I'm rubbing my feet together in my home. I'm eating popcorn laughing at you because you're miserable. You don't have anything else to do but to try to bully people because I mean, we're good. We're happy. We're healthy. Health is wealth. We're successful
And we're
and
grateful.
we're
And we're in love.
grateful. And the wedding was dope.
Too dope. Too dope. And even with the speaking of the flowers, the truck full, at least, that was, given away and donated, that was even after many of them were repurposed for our final event, which was just an amazing outcome, to be able to take small pieces from this, platinum, silver and white wedding day and turn it into this beautiful fall brunch, and
It
just
was
by
so
adding
pretty.
pops of color and just recreating this garden feel, we totally changed the landscape of the weekend, um, just in one event, and
Yes, honey. And
every
we looked
day, and
good.
looked very, very good.
It looked so good. And I just walked in. I just saw the Two Dope brunch
Tudo
and
Brunch Club.
Tudo Brunch Club, and Mill and I walked in our white and gold custom designs by Jay Bolin and Anthony Lamore. The girls looked beautiful. I mean, we felt
Our guests looked
our
amazing.
guests looked amazing, and we had a good time. The food was amazing. Because of course, we had 1,001 tastings to make sure that our guests enjoyed all of the food throughout the entire Two Dope Wedding weekend.
And it was excellent the entire time. Everybody lived up to
Everything.
what they promised and what we had in our tastings.
And let's
We
not
enjoyed
talk
that part.
about Soul in the Game.
Um,
Oh,
yes,
I
let's
love
let's do talk
them.
about Soul in the Game. So
I love them.
there, our entertainment for Sunday, we discussed many different options. At first, no special artist. We thought we'd take it easy on Sunday.
Yeah, just have a DJ. Yeah.
Mill is
That sounds great.
Mill is our take it
That
easy
sounds great.
person versus Shantae and I, and she was ready to let's chill
Yeah, let's
on
have a
Sunday
DJ.
And we had a
until
DJ,
we
DJ Swag.
yes we did, until much like this, um, video that I sent Shantae of the cake, or of our baker. I
So you're to
sent
blame.
the video. I'm partial. It went exactly how it went with the cake. I don't know if you know about this
Yeah.
message, but it was when I sent them. She said, "Well, are they available?" And the only reason why that, sparked a little bit is because at the time I didn't realize they came from
They
London,
were in London.
that they're based in London.
Yeah, I'm
She
thinking
knew
they're
that.
in
I
Atlanta
knew that because
somewhere.
I
She knew
follow I
that.
follow Soul in the Game, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
are they available?
So she
I
knew
love them.
already.
I want them.
And now it's time for us to tell Millicent something else. So
And
um,
Millicent was like, they're where? So they're in London. But the kicker was that they may have not been in London that particular weekend because they were supposed to have been in what, Dubai?
Dubai. Mhm.
And we were like, okay, well, we just got to get them from Dubai to Orlando.
Dubai to Orlando. And so for a little while, what your thoughts in the beginning? Look, she's like, I'm
Yeah.
out of this.
I
I'm out
thought
of this.
I was, it was important that we were happy with the decisions. But I thought, how are we going to get these folks all the way from the UK to Orlando.
And we're talking about a what? It's like a 7-piece.
And this is a whole band.
Yeah, it was 10 total.
10-piece
This
band.
is a whole band.
Mm-hmm. So my travel spreadsheet between the 10 members from Tidal Wave Band, that's 10 flights. Initially, it was about 7 or so from Juvenile's team. There's Music Child's team, and so all the transportation and the vehicles and picking everybody up from the airport and all
And
of
not to
their.
mention, we're in the middle of an entire
Oh, we're in a whole shutdown.
government
Government
shutdown.
We're in a
shutdown.
whole government shutdown. And so if, Juvenile's flight came in at 5 and someone else's was, Tidal Waves comes in at 6, well, both of their flights are delayed. And so the van that was supposed to pick up Juvenile has to return back at 7 because they didn't get there. It was fun. But I tell you, we had probably the least flight issues with the international flights beyond our lead singer, which is something that the ladies didn't know until after the brunch. But he didn't arrive until mid brunch. He was in Orlando, stuck in customs, and the band held it down without him.
They held it down.
And when he showed up, it's like the energy was so high. He couldn't have been there the whole time anyway. It was just so amazing.
And he came in from all of that, threw on that jacket and jumped right into performance. And we were like, never knew that he was coming from the airport and everything that he had gone through, but they were just phenomenal.
They were pros, yeah.
I still think about Tennessee Whiskey to this day, the way
I think that was everybody's favorite.
He sung that song, so I had to get up and just snatch the microphone out of his hand. Give me this microphone. I mean, phenomenal. And just having the opportunity to talk to them after and take pictures with them and just get to know them a little bit better. And they were like, hey, we're here in the U.S. for, a couple of more days. I can't do their British accent. And come party with us. And we're looking like we've been up since like last week. We have not slept. We cannot party not one more
they had such
moment,
great energy.
but the energy was amazing.
And it completely changed where we were at the Two Dope wedding weekend, because we went from a rapper was, Saturday night, and a second line band to this totally different musical experience that Soul and the Gang gives. And it just goes back to, like at first Mill was saying, we can just have a DJ, and a DJ is great. However, I also remember the moment, also in New York, when Millicent pulled me to the side, a little secret moment again. Hey, girl. And said, just call them and see if they can still come. And that's when we ended up, because it was a lot to take on, to decide to bring a band, from London. At that time, they did end up coming from there for the most part, except for, I think one person still came from Dubai. But it was such a great decision, and it's so memorable for your guests. It's not something that they're going to be able to bump into at another wedding, very likely not going to happen. So it's just another testament of, besides the very few things that we're talking about, just great vendors, great energy, and
the
great
feedback
weekend.
has been crazy. I want to say it was like that night, our guests like wouldn't leave us. We were looking at them like, okay, it's our wedding night. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're all just there hanging around. They would not leave, and the consensus that we continued to hear from everybody, and this is no shade on nobody else's wedding. Weddings are canceled. Like, this is it. I'm not attending any more weddings. Like, you all spoil weddings for me. That's what we heard throughout the entire weekend. So kudos to you for doing an amazing job pulling it all together. We know it was a lot, and Millicent is a lot, because this started off being, as she stated earlier, very small. we were doing a certain budget, and then she
Are you
called you
talking about the
back.
day you called me to change it?
Yes.
That's a whole episode.
That's a whole episode. But I just want the record to show that throughout this I asked for maybe three things. Everything else that you witnessed, that you experienced, that you're hearing about now was Millicent. And don't get me wrong, because this is my second time around, I wanted you to have the wedding of your dreams. And we ended up having the wedding of the century. But this was all for you.
I'm going to exercise my right to remain silent in this moment.
This
I
was
think you can do
all for
that.
you. I asked for water, 15 tier cake. What else?
The people from London
The people from
and
London.
Dubai.
I really didn't ask for them, but thank you.
All right, guys. I want to thank you for being so transparent and just open about your story and how it became the Two Dope wedding weekend. And also, selfishly, I just want to take a moment to thank you for my role in the Two Dope wedding weekend. Obviously, I've been doing this for nearly 15 years. The cake tier time, I'm right up there with the cake tiers. And, clients are clients, and some, many become, more special than that. And you have no idea how or who that will happen with. And it's just something that you can't create. You can't, wish it to happen. It just happens.
Happens.
And every day planning with you all and having the opportunity to learn more about this love story that I'm trying so hard to help you tell has been such an awesome experience that I didn't plan for. I planned to work and to plan and design your wedding. And I learned so much, um, industry wise and, professionally, but just also just about people and about life and love and forgiveness and family and acceptance, and even me wanting to beat up internet trolls, and you guys just having so much grace for people, and being such hard workers, which it, it seems like it may not be related to the subject, but it's why we're here. It's here because you work hard, and in every day our meetings, people wouldn't. I wish we'd had the opportunity to just find out from a phone company how many hours we've spoken and how late, if even if Millicent went to sleep, um, she wakes up, how long this can go. But it's been, just monumental in my growth as a person and as Miss Party Life. And I'm thankful. And so if I learned this much, I just feel like there's so much that others can learn from you all. And I would love for you to just share from this experience in particular. And I know you can draw from over 15 years, but what would you say if you, had to choose that one thing about this person that's sitting across from you, that has been fueled by this Two Dope wedding, and this weekend? What can you say about each other and what this has taught you?
Um, it has definitely taught me that love can weather any storm. And we've had our share of storms, and we're still here. I love this person sitting across from me. This wasn't just a production, this wasn't just a show. We waited 15 years to take this jump, and if I had to do it all over again, I would. And we have great days, we have good days, we have bad days, but at the end of the day, it's still us. We still are the Two Dope family. We still have our family. And what a lot of people don't know, Millicent has the patience of Job. Um, so her patience will make you love her because I'm not as patient, but she is easy to love. And because she's so easy to love, I can love you for the rest of my life. Um, Even in the afterlife, and I know they say when we get to wherever we're going, they say you forget about earth and you let go of earthly things and you probably won't remember those people. But I truly believe that if I were to meet you in the other place, whether that's heaven or hell, that my soul will still be connected to you. We'll find each other again. I love you.
I love you too. I love you too. Yeah, I'm very, very certain. Oh, I don't want you to cry. I don't want you to cry. But I love you. You know I love you with my whole heart. All of me. All of me. And I'd always choose you. Tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, I'll choose you. And I'm very certain of that. I like to say I hit the human lottery, which I tell you is, I'm not no big lotto player or Powerball player, but I hit the human lottery of meeting such an incredible person, um, who just, our good days outweigh our bad days, and we just enjoy each other. We can laugh together, we talk, we play, um, and naturally we're gonna fuss, but still we love hard and we love each other hard.
Now, with that said, um, there's so much more that the Two Dope Chicks have to share with their community and with the world. Can you tell me a little bit about what's next?
Uh, Stay tuned. I mean, we're here. We're going to continue to be in the community. We're still going to, of course, Daniel's Law Firm, the People's Attorney, Two Dope Chicks Who Give a Care. We also have other surprises coming. We're still looking forward to working with you in the future. Um, and we just want to tell people out there just to love. Open up your heart to love. Be genuine. Be authentic. Don't worry about what others may think or perception and how you want to be perceived. Because at the end of the day, God knows your heart. God knows what we desire before we even know what we desire. So just follow your heart and develop your own relationship with God or whoever it is that you serve, and the rest will take care of itself.
Amen.
Amen.
And
Anything?
stay tuned because we'll be back. And guess what, guys? We burnt out our nose. uh, okay, I'm fighting back my tears. Okay, bye. We developed, we love perfume. We have this tradition that every holiday we will go into the stores and we sniff perfume all the time. We buy a lot of perfume. We developed a perfume. Each of our guests went home with a bottle during the Two Dope wedding, either Doe or Douquois. Doe is French for two, and Douquois is French for two hearts. Of course, we went the French route because New Orleans, and the smell is amazing. This is not something that you can just, we literally sat down together
And
and we sniffed for a while and
yeah,
put these fragrances together. It's unisex. You'll love it. So coming soon, you too will have the Two Dope experience. You will be able to experience Doe or Douquois. It's coming to you.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Two Dope Chicks podcast, the wedding series. Now, the Two Dope Chicks have a little more. This is not the last of them that you've seen. So please
follow
us. Follow us.
Follow, like,
We have a
subscribe.
lot more. We have a lot more to share, so this is
Yes,
gonna be fun.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's at I Dope Chicks. That's at I Dope Chicks.
So this has been the Two Dope Chicks, followed along with Miss Party Life at Party Life Pro, and we thank you for joining us.